Dear friends, after introducing the syllabus of history and political science, as well as study pattern and paper pattern of this subject, now we are moving towards the actual syllabus. Now, history chapter number 1. The name of this chapter is Historiography Development in the West. In this chapter, we learn first tradition of historiography. After that, we learn some features of modern historiography. Then we learn development of scientific perspective in Europe and historiography. And then we see some examples of notable scholars who worked in the field of historiography in Europe and the West. Now, what are the objectives of historical research? The first point is historical research, writing, and studies are carried out with an objective of understanding the chronology of the past event and their interconnections. The second point is the history research is a continuous process. Now we are going to comparing in scientific research and history research. In the physical science and natural sciences, the empirical method is used to verify the available knowledge. Now, what is empirical method? This method is related with laboratory method to experiment and observation. This method allowed formulating laws and remain to irrespective of the time and space. Those can be tested and proved repeatedly. Now, what is the difference between scientific methodology and historiography? See, in historical research, it may not be possible to use the method of laboratory experiment and observation. Do you know why is it? This is so because we were not present in the historical time and space, and historical event can't be repeated. In history, it is not possible to formulate laws and remain to irrespective of the time and space. Now see, here is a concept map of various disciplines useful in historical research. Those are archaeology, archival science, manuscriptology, epigraphy, analysis of letter style, and linguistics. These branches of science or sub-branches of history helpful in historical research or in historiography. Here it is a concept map about historical research which has been explained in your textbook. See, here some steps has been given. Writing of historical narrative. The first step is formulating relevant questions in view of the historical references. After that, formulating hypothesis. Then critically examination of various sources of history. After that, examining relevant references of the available historical information. Then, collecting historical information, highlighting the process that lead to historical transition, carrying out comparative analysis. And the last one is understanding the references regarding time and space of the given historical events and also various conceptual frameworks used in historical research method. Now we are going to learn the tradition of historiography. First, we learn the concept of historiography. We have learned about the historical research method, critically examination of historical sources and writing the historical narrative. The writing of critical historical narrative is known as historiography. Now, Who is historian? A scholar writes such a narrative is a historian. The historian cannot include every past event in his narrative. The inclusion and interpretation of historical event by the historian depends on the conceptual framework adopted by them, and his style of writing is determined by the conceptual framework. Now see about the tradition of historiography. The tradition of historiography was not prevalent in the ancient societies of the world. But it does not mean that they were not aware of their historical time or not eager to know about it. See, ancient people also felt the need of passing on stories to the next generation. Ancient communities all over the world use various means like cave paintings, storytelling, singing songs or ballads, etc. for this purpose. Now see, these traditional means are looked upon as the sources of history in the modern historiography. Now we are going to learn in details about the modern historiography. See, which are main characteristics of modern historiography? It is a concept map of those characteristics. The first point is, it is based on scientific principles. The second point is anthropocentric questions. The third one is answers are supported by reliable evidence. And the last one is it is a presentation of mankind journey. See once again, main characteristics of modern historiography. First, based on scientific principles, anthropocentric questions, answers are supported by reliable evidence, and presentation of mankind journey. Here in your textbook exercise there is a question, what are the 4 characteristics of modern historiography? It is a long answers question, and here is the answer divided into points and subpoints. Main characteristics of modern historiography. The first point is based on scientific principles, and there are following subpoints. First is, this method is based on scientific principles. Second one, it begins with the formation of relevant questions. The next main point is anthropocentric questions. The questions aroused in modern historiography are anthropocentric. The next point is, it means these questions are about the deeds of the members of an ancient human societies of particular period. The third point is, history does not suggest any interrelations between the divine and human deeds. The next main point is, answers are supported by reliable evidence. See, in modern historiography, answers to these questions are supported by reliable evidence. And the next main point is, modern historiography is the presentation of mankind journey. History presents a graph of mankind journey with the help of past human deeds. Now here is a next part of your lesson. Development of scientific perspective in Europe and historiography. See these points. Till the 18th century, Europe had achieved a remarkable progress in the field of philosophy and science. Scholars had come to believe in the possibility of studying the social and historical truth by applying scientific method. The philosophical discussions focus more and more on the objectivity in history and historiography. Germany's Gutenberg University first time had an independent department of history, and other universities follow this. Now the main part of the chapter is some notable scholars who works in the field of historiography. The contribution of many scholars are important in the development of historiography. Let us have a look at the contribution of the few notable scholars. The first is René Descartes. The period of René Descartes is 1596 to 1650. He was a French scholar. René Descartes was the foremost among scholars who insisted on verifying the reliability of historical documents by critically examining them. Among the rules given by him in his book Discourse on the Method, he stated in this book that never accept anything for the true till all grounds of doubts are excluded. Now, the next scholar is Voltaire. Have you heard this name? Yes. In the 8th standard, during studying French Revolution, you have heard this name. The period of Voltaire is 1694 to 1787. Now, what is the original name of Voltaire? The name of Voltaire is François-Marie Arouet. He was a French scholar. Let's see, what is the opinion of Voltaire? The opinion of Voltaire is, along with objective, truth and chronology of historical event, considering social, traditions, trade, economy, agriculture, etc., was also equally important in historiography. It gives rise to the thought that understanding all aspects of human life is important for history writing. He did a great work and fundamental work in the field of historiography. Thus, it is said that Voltaire was the founder of modern historiography. Here there is a question in your exercise: why is Voltaire said to be the founder of modern historiography? Or it is a question for explain the following with its reason. Now we are going to learn the work of a German scholar and philosopher. The name of that scholar is George William Friedrich Hegel. The period is 1770 to 1831. Hegel insisted that the historical reality should be presented in a logical manner. According to him, the timeline of historical events was indicator of progress. Also thought that the presentation of history is bound to change over time as new evidence would come forth. Hegel states this. According to this philosophy, many scholars were convinced that historical methods were not lesser quality, though they differed from scientific method. Hegel was famous for his dialectics theory, which is explained in your textbook. The collection of his lectures and articles is published in a book entitled Encyclopedia of Philosophical Sciences. His book, Reason in History, is well-known book. See, I am repeating this line again. Hegel wrote a famous book, Reason in History. Hegel's theory of dialectic is important for short notes, so prepare it carefully. Now next is Karl Marx. The period of Karl Marx 1818 to 1883. In the latter of the 19th century, a new school of thoughts arose keeping in view the new thesis formulated by Karl Marx. According to Karl Marx, history was not about abstract ideas. It was about living people. Human relationships are shaped by the fundamental needs of people and ownership as well as nature of prevalent means of production to meet those needs. Karl Marx is famous for his class theory. Now, what is class theory? According to him, human history is the history of class struggle, as the class that owns the means of production economically exploits the rest of the classes. Karl Marx explained his famous theory in his famous book Das Kapital. Now, there is another German scholar. His name is Leopold von Ranke. And the period of Ranke is 1795 to 1868. He was a German scholar and philosophical from Berlin University. He spoke about the critical method of historical research. He emphasized on the importance of information gathered through original documents. He also stated that always type of documents associated with a historical event need to be examined with greatest care. With this method, it was possible to reach the historical truth. Ranke criticized imaginative narration of history. Collection of his articles is published in 2 books entitled The Theory and Practice of History and The Secret of World History. While studying the work of scholars, there were some schools in Western historiography. Annals School was such a school. In the beginning of 20th century, a new school of historiography arose in France, which is known as Annals School. It gives a new direction to history writing. It was recognized now that history is not only about the political events, kings, great leaders, and accordingly political diplomacy and wars, but also about the climate, local people, agriculture, trade, technology, means of communication, social divisions, and their collective psychology, etc. In the historical times, the Annals School was started by French historians. Now, we are going to learn about feminist historiography. See, what is feminist historiography? Feminist historiography means the reconstructing of the history from the perspective of women. The writings of Simone de Beauvoir were helped establishing the fundamentals of feminism. She was a French scholar. The feminist historiography emphasized on inclusion of women in history and the ranking of the male domination perspective of history. It drove historical research to focus in depth on various aspects of women's life, such as their employment, role in trade unions, institution working for their cause, and their family life, etc. In the historical writing after 1990, women were portrayed as the independent social class. The last scholar we learn, he is Michel Foucault. The period of Michel Foucault was 1926 to 1984. He was the French historian of the 20th century. His famous book was Archaeology of Knowledge. Foucault argued that the prevailing practice of arranging historical events in an archaeological order is not right. Foucault drew attention to the fact that archaeology does not strive to reach the ultimate historical truth, but it attempts to explain various transitions in the past. Foucault felt that explaining the transitions in history is more important. He called his method the archaeology of knowledge. At the end of this chapter, we make conclusion. Thus, the scope of historiography kept continuously expanding. Writing of history in various subjects like literature, architecture, sculpture, drawing and painting, music, dance, drama, films and television, etc. came into practice. See once again, what do we learn through this chapter? Through this chapter, we think about the Western trends of historiography. Then we learn the concept of history, the analysis of historiography, tradition of historiography as well as modern historiography. After that, development of scientific perspective in Europe and historiography. Then we take a review of notable scholars such as René Descartes, Voltaire, George William Friedrich Hegel, Leopold von Ranke, Karl Marx, Michel Foucault. As well as we take a review of schools such as Annales School and feminist historiography. So, learn this chapter carefully with all boxes and try to practice the exercises. Thank you.